So I've had a few questions about how to use a foam roller. Foam rollers can be really good. I would definitely not just do foam rolling on its own, but as part of a more integrated warm-up, including bands, basic stretching, and some activation work. But particularly for people, say, who have a bit of tenderness around their kneecaps, these can be really good for foam rolling around the quads, particularly your teardrop or your VMO. So what we're trying to do here is just oscillate on the spot, rather than sometimes you see people trying to foam roll the whole quad at once. It doesn't really get into those muscle fibres. So what we're trying to do is just cock your leg and feel that really sore on that big muscle, the big Chris Hoy muscle, as I like to call it, around the kneecap, and then roll it round, getting the whole of that quad, spending about sort of 10-15 seconds on each piece, and then moving on up a little bit higher, and again across that whole quad. You've got 4 muscles in the quad, so you need to do each one, and you want to try and make sure each bit gets a bit of love. So next muscle which I'd look to use the foam roller on if I have some real tightness would be in through my lats. Just rolling into behind the rotator cuffs and behind the shoulder. So just rolling, again, it's little movements on there, and you'll find a few tender bits in there, I'm sure. They'll make you wince. Just stay in there, breathe through it. So again, sort of 15-20 seconds maybe, and then move on. This isn't going to sort your problem, but it'll definitely help ease the pain and tightness. And finally, you can just use it for a good bit of flexibility, particularly your thoracic. So if you've got a tight thoracic, you can just lay across the foam roller. Put your hands there above your head. Try and keep your bum down and your tummy tight. Make sure you're arching through your thoracic and not through your lumbar spine. So a lot of people you see do this, and they'll really stick their tummy butt up, and you start to get tightness into that lumbar spine. Let's keep that nice and flat and try and bend through your thoracic. Try and get there. As you can see, I probably need to do a little bit of work on that myself. Okay, so just to clarify, thoracic, your spine's broken into 3 sections. You've got your cervical spine, the top bit, thoracic, sort of your mid-back, and then your lumbar where you've got the curve. So you find a lot of people get stiff through their thoracic, and as a result they actually start moving more through their lumbar spine and get a little bit of pain in their lower back potentially from there. Another way to just start getting the thoracic start moving, and if you're a bit of tightness before, say, some Olympic lifting or some general weightlifting, is just to roll nice and smoothly up and down the spine into mainly the thoracic area. Don't drop too low into the lumbar. Take your arms above your head, and it's very much each to their own. Some people enjoy this, some people won't, and different ways for different horses, different courses. So personally, I would use the foam roller if I had a few little niggles or some real tightness at the beginning of the session, as well as the activation and the stretching that I've previously talked about. I normally always do my foam rolling at the end of the session as a cool down, and that goes without saying. I'd only use it at the beginning of the session if I had a couple of areas that needed a bit of extra special attention.